Hello there, everybody. Welcome to a live Q&A with most of the collaborators from the What Anime Taught Me, Well, Us About Writing. My name is Jenna O'Malley. Let's go ahead, rock it out, and get started. Anime has been around since nigh on probably the 1940s, if we're getting really honest here. And it has affected many people's lifestyles, mindsets, writing habits, creativity, inspirations, to the point of causing spin-offs and fan fiction of fan fiction in anime form. My name's Jenna O'Malley. Thank you for everybody who has either collaborated in or watched any of the videos about #anime taught me, well, us about writing. I have a couple of the panel members backstage with me. If you want to go ahead and check the playlist, then go ahead and see all 20 plus videos that were contributed over the months of January and February 2024. And we look forward to possibly doing something very similar in the cold winter months of 2025 together. I have some amazing people here and backstage with me, including a co-author of Dynamic and Dragon Tasking Proportions, Rachel. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Rocking it out, rocking it out. Tell us about you and all the things you do.
I do lots of things. I take care of everything here at the house, and then I also help with web page design and writing for articles and copywriting. I also am now the proud author / publisher of the Dragon Tasker series. We have 2 novels out of 5 total that will be out. I'm working on number 3, and we also accidentally started a couple of other series, the prequel series for this, and also the companion series for this, all because of fans wanting to know the stories of other people.
And if you want to find out more about that, I did an interview with her and her co-author, a month and a half, 2 months ago? Go check it out for more information. Next up is somebody else who always talks about the anime, whether it's in her own shows or with her kids. A lot of you know her as Mama Maggie. Tell us about you, my dear.
Hello, lovelies. I'm Mama Maggie Ward, independent author and stroke survivor. I have a farm. I have booky things. And yeah, I am here to talk about anime today. As someone who has been watching anime since the 1970s, yes, when dinosaurs colored the cells by hand.
Astro Boy.
I have a lot of things to say about this, and I had so much fun doing this series. I had 2 more episodes planned to do. Unfortunately, as you all know, I'm having migraine syndrome. And I just was not able to get the last 2 out. So I look forward to doing them when we touch on this hashtag again. And I think it's such a cultural phenomenon. People don't realize, they do not realize how much anime and animation really has affected their lives. I mean, now we have entire channels that are dedicated to anime and animation, but they don't remember that, like, back in the day, you had to go to the movie theater to see anything animated, or you had to go to the drive-in to see something animated, or the only animation you had, and this is how old I am. The only animation that I had when I was a little one was we got a couple of hours on Saturday morning, and that was it. You watched
that way 90s, to be fair.
You know, so, there was, I mean, you could catch a few during, you know, if you stayed up like really late or got up really, really early in the morning, you could catch some. And I remember watching Battle of the Planets.
You got to hold that thought, Mama Maggie. We're going to get to questions about the things you watched here in a little bit. Just hold that thought. I want to bring in one more friend and give a couple of more announcements, if I may. Sam just got back from a conference and is literally dropping in to join us. Oh, my goodness. Tell us all about Sam.
Hey, everybody. I am Sam. And yeah, I've been an anime fan for I came into it kind of late because I grew up with 3 channels and 3 channels only, and Saturday mornings were not mine. They were part of the farm. So yeah, I got into anime probably around high school, back in the 90s. But on my channel, you can find me talking about anime and nervous things, mental health, and of course, my writing adventures.
And there's a video she put up literally today about the adventure at the conference. You need to go check it out.
I'm still like riding the nerves.
You slayed. Let's just put it that way. And we do have a couple of contributors who either may step in late or who are not joining us on screen today, including Sako Toomey, Kay Parquette, and Nicole, the Blind Mage, over at the Blind Sisters channel. If you wouldn't mind either giving them some love by, of course, watching their contributions to the playlist or checking out their channels, we would much appreciate you for that. We do have a couple of questions ready and rolling to go, and because of things that happened in life, they got them late. So we're gonna all, for the most part, fly by the seat of our, I would normally say a Yu-Gi-Oh reference here and say Moki, referencing Mokuba Kaiba, but number one, what anime was the first one you remember watching? Do you think it leaked its way into your writing, Rachel? Let's go with you and then just follow the square.
Oh, I think so. My first time watching anime was late night anime, so it was for adults or considered adult anime, and it was Vampire Hunter D. And that one was, ever since that one, I've kind of leaned toward anti-heroes or dark heroes instead of the kind of knight kind of thing. And even when you think of heroes in the traditional sense, when it comes to my writing, usually they are not as nice as they portray themselves to be.
I like D for one reason. Talk to the hand. Had a whole new meaning in the 90s.
Yes, it did.
Talk to the hand, literally.
He struggled though. He didn't want to be what he was, but he didn't want to die either.
And that's why he's in the Mary category of Boink, Mary, Unalive. Just saying.
Oh, good.
This is where we're starting, everybody. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that on YouTube. Continue, Mama Maggie.
Okay. I actually had a few minutes between modding on other streams that I popped over here, and I was able to like get out my answers because I have the stroke thing, and so I have everything writing down. But like, I started I remember, I guess it was 1976 or 1977 when I started watching Battle of the Planets, and this is after a childhood of watching animation, like 4 hours in the morning. At Saturday morning, that was all. And then I discovered if I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I could watch sci-fi animation. And was every episode the same? Yeah, pretty much it was. The Zoltar was creating a problem. They had to go out and fix it. Commander Mark was having some kind of mental breakdown about his issues with his father leaving him.
When isn't he every episode?
When isn't he, right? It's like, why are you the commander and not Jace? Jace was so much more stable than you. Did he smoke and drive fast cars? Yes, he did. But he was more stable than you.
He was the bad boy. He can't be the hero.
But that led into actually one that is almost forgotten, that is currently being remade and available on Crunchyroll, is Legend of Galactic Heroes. Now, you want to see Battlestar Galactica in space? Legend of Galactic Heroes. I watched that one in the original run. So that was the 70s. That was the early 80s. Vampire Hunter D was in there. But then we kind of had this shift in the 90s to like more advanced animation, more things. And that's when I started watching anime like the Bubblegum Squad. And I don't know if you remember this, but
that's one of the ones I was going to mention.
It was like BattleTech 2.0. And I have been one who I've always been into the science fiction genre. I've always been into the gen for years. I mean, literally from the time I was like 5 or 6 years old, watching the moon launches, moon landings, things like that. I wanted to be an astronaut. And so for me, science fiction, the anime of science fiction, that fed so much into my whole worldview as a child.
It affected your world building in your books too.
Yeah.
For another question in more detail, I think. But you want to talk about leak? I would even say D affected your books, Rachel, big time.
I think
Sam,
so.
what about you?
So the first anime that I remember watching is Sailor Moon, but at the time, at the time I did not like it. It annoyed me. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I like that one for a reason. The one that wore red and purple is my favorite for a reason. She's the only one that didn't annoy me.
Yeah. So Makoto was the only one that didn't annoy me, and Makoto was the only reason why I watched that show, period. Plus it was kind of pretty and it was different. But the anime that I first fell in love with was Vampire Hunter D. And then, of course, second is Naruto. So, yeah. Naruto, I binged watched that show. Like, I would stay up and watch all the episodes that I could because my friend from college gave them to me. And then I would go to work. And then I would, on my lunch break, I would have my rinky-dink little player and watching it. And then I'd go home and keep watching it. That's how dedicated I was to Naruto. So Naruto definitely has leaked its way into my writing. Vampire Hunter D, yes. Y'all haven't seen the part of my writings that Vampire Hunter D has entered in yet.
I would see that big time now. We did have a friend sneak in backstage too. So, Nicole, hello.
Hey guys, I wasn't sure on your
Hi, Nicole.
I'm feeling better.
So what about you, my friend? What about you? What anime was the first one you remember watching? Do you think it leaked its way into your writing?
So I heard y'all mention Vampire D, which I had that whole series. But my first intro to anime was Card Captors and Sailor Moon.
That actually makes total sense for you because blind mage, tarot cards. That makes a huge amount of sense to me. For me, I got to agree with somebody in the audience because you all have kind of already mentioned the ones I've mentioned. His name is Weka no Sanandario. And oh my God, I want to run my hands through that man's hair.
Oh, I bet.
He had gorgeous, like I was jealous of the hair the guys had in this show.
That's like any anime.
Amazing. It's an older anime from the 80s, but all of the guys had delicious hair.
What?
Sorry, just saying. And it was taken off television rather abruptly, and there's parts of it that never, kind of like Sailor Moon, how Stars just recently came to the States. Was it the 20th anniversary when they put it to DVD for Ronin and they redubbed the OVAs at the end? Oh my God, the story made 20 times more sense.
Yeah.
Definitely has an overlay in my books because there's a character named Murukawa. If you've read my books, you know who he is from the show now because he has an awesome head of hair.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. All right, we got a couple of more questions. We're going to go back around the parallelogram, I guess it is now. Number 2, which anime helped you to solve a problem or heal from something in your life for better when you think things should have been worse? Rachel.
I guess I think that's why Fruits Basket hit me so hard, because when you're thinking about how other people perceive you versus how you really are, that really hit home for me, coming from a place where I had to kind of dissolve my ties with certain family members and things like that. It was a matter of recognizing the difference between something that you're supposed to do versus something that they want you to do. So yeah, I really, really kind of bonded with Kyo in that one. And, that got me when I got to see his first transformation. So not his first cute transformation either, the other transformation.
The real one.
His true
Yeah.
form.
For you, have you seen the remake?
I have not seen the remake, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to.
I would love to know your opinions of it because I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it alone because of the feels.
Well, we'll have to set it up. You'll have to set it up sometime.
Yes, Mama Maggie. Muted?
Sorry. Nezuko was talking to me.
No.
She wants to come in and lay in my lap, and I'm like, no, go lay with your babies. And so yeah, she was unhappy. I think for me it was again Battle of the Planets when I was little kid, and Legends of the Galactic Heroes. I can't remember her name in Legends of Galactic Heroes, but in Battle of the Planets, there was a character. Her name was they called her Princess, and there's only one episode in that's what they translated her name when they were doing the translation from English from Japanese. But Meow, her thing was she was a scientist. Yeah, she was, she was on the front line. She was a hero. She was basically the tech person that ran in. And then that brought up the G.I. Joe animes, where they had these smart warrior women who were also, they could fight, they could protect themselves, and it was okay for them to be smart. They didn't have to be damsels. And as a child coming from deep South Texas, abusive parents, toxically codependent mom, basically you're not the pretty one, so you better at least be a good cook. That mindset, and having, and being able to see these animes before I was even 10 years old, of these women that were stronger, that were smarter, that could fight back, that was very empowering to little tiny me, who was basically already being told, your sisters are both the pretty ones. You look like a half-breed. You're never going to be anything. You better be a good cook, or if you get married, your husband won't keep her. And to see women that could fight, that were smart, that were scientists, this was like
many of them married, I might add too. If I might add, many of them were married too. They had families in those shows too that were touched on.
Yeah. And it's like this opened a world to me that, I could leave this deep South stereotype behind.
That's actually a lot to aspire to. And I'm going to pass it to somebody who's from the not so deep South. So, Sam, we're going to continue down on you. Yep. She's a Baltimore girl. Nicole's a Baltimore girl. Yeah. So, sorry.
Nice try.
Yeah, I'm from right above Georgia, so I think that's...
As my brother who lived in Winston-Salem would have said, I'm into the deep enough. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to come down where I'm from. You don't want to do that.
So, for which anime that helped you solve a problem or heal?
Healing was definitely Howl's Moving Castle for me. It's one of my favorite animes. I even have a Studio Ghibli shirt. I mean, I have several different, Howl's shirts and Princess Mononoke and everything, but Sophie kind of reminded me of Mom, and when Mom passed away, just watching Howl's Moving Castle, it helped. So that really helped me heal. Plus, it was a distraction, so I guess distractions can heal too. But yeah, it could have been a lot worse if I didn't have something that reminded me of her that it would help me work through all the emotions.
Grandma Sophie, we love you. We love you. Who wants to be Grandma Sophie when they grow up? Everybody on screen for the most part. Nicole.
So for me, I had to think about it, but I'd say mine is Hollet, which I actually started out with the manga before I watched the anime. And I like the idea that the story for that is focusing around transformation and being outside the norm, which is what I've been going through all my life, is that the idea that if you're blind, you have to stick to the stereotypes, but I like breaking stereotypes.
Yeah, and the way the vocabulary in Holic, the dialogue in Holic for someone whom is sighted or not is delicious. So I could see for you, it would just be like, give me all the details. Give me all the details. Because they're very.
I love Yuko.
Yes, that's who I couldn't remember their name. Thank you. For me, I almost would have said the same one as Sam, Howl's Moving Castle. But it's more for the book. When I was sick one time in the hospital really bad, my husband would read the book to me.
Aww.
Yeah, and the book is nothing like the movie. Miyazaki, you made some really good fan fiction, just saying. So if you haven't read the actual book that the movie's based on, please go read the book. But to name another, it's one that's coming about recently. A lot of you don't know, but probably assume, but I've become a social recluse in the last 4 years due to PTSD. And we're watching Comey Can't Communicate. So every episode is a sob fest, but I feel better at the end of it. And it's like, the psychology of anime. But it's catharsis and relating to that and understanding what it's like to kind of feel that selective mutism. Ooh, thank you, anime. Thank you.
Cheaper than therapy.
Yes, and better. And I would rather support the artists and writers that make it so they can make more. Thank you very much. Number 3, if there is one anime character who is your bad guy archetype, who would you write, or who and would you write a romance for them? There you go.
I don't know how to answer. I mean, I can see certain qualities from like Kyo in Cineas. So I've already written some of those ideas where they're very prickly and they think that they're a monster and they don't want to be saved. They don't want to hurt anybody else, and they come across as crass and annoying for the most part, and they have this way about them that is learned, or actually this, like, society taught them this, or their family taught them this, or whatever the case may be. The world taught them to be prickly, and then it takes somebody special to bring them out of it. And so I guess that I have already done that in a way with him. And my co-author, she also loves anime, and I believe that I can go out on a limb and say that Vampire Hunter D, actually kind of coincides with Sebastian, who is her main vampire character. And even though I didn't write him, I think she got a lot from him.
I was going to say, we had 3 people on screen nodding in agreement. That's a consensus.
Okay.
For me, I've never been attracted because of my family. I've never been attracted to the bad.
Talking about before.
I've never been attracted to the bad guy. I've never been attracted to evil and stuff like that. To even the ones that, you know, they're very morally gray. I've never been attracted to those who purposely do harm. So I don't know how to answer this. Now, having said that, when Inuyasha was coming around and my children were watching Inuyasha growing up, okay, so they were like dibbing on who gets to be my anime boyfriend. And the youngest beat the older 2 in Uno to get Shishomaru.
You and Seshi would be a happy couple.
Oh, yes.
Under one condition, no one's breaking him up from his woman, especially now that they have kids. Back off, Mama Maggie. I love you, but he's got kids with her now.
She youngest wants to be Renu. You know, she's happy being the second wife. She would be.
And for you, Sam.
What about you, Sam?
So I have 3.
Oh my.
Yeah, that
Are
I
we
know.
ranking them?
Can we?
Can. First one is, of course, Vampire Hunter D. Just because of the inner demons and the outer demons, and just the way D is so complex. Second one is Orochimaru. Just because
You evil woman.
I fell in love with Orochimaru. I did. I've written a ton of fan fiction that will never see the light of day.
Oh.
And
I mean, I'm trying to see you, so
nope,
you're driving well.
no. I mean, the tongue alone. Come on, you know. But the third one would have to be Sebastian.
Yes.
I broke Mama Maggie. I'm sorry.
So you've got other people like you.
Black Butler. Yes.
Yeah. Definitely Sebastian from Black Butler, because I have characters that are evil just to be evil. And they
The
don't
nun
care.
scene is all I have to say. The nun scene.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm learning more about the women on this panel than I thought I knew.
Hey, there's nothing better than a good demon tea.
Right?
You say that like you know, Mama Maggie. Just saying.
It's heated with fire and brimstone.
Sam!
Ow.
Okay, all right. You started this, Jenna.
Oh.
Okay. Now that my side hurts, whose turn was it?
Fine.
Wrong one.
Oh, this is hard. I love my villains and great characters.
So if you were to do a top 3 then, since Sam did one, you can do one.
Definitely say Sebastian from Black Butler. So he's a violinist, so that's a plus. Bakia Tucci from Bleach. And I know people are on the fence on, but I gotta go with my original, which is Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Dang it. You had to bring up him? You had to bring up him? He's not technically a villain. He's just an antagonist with a really bad childhood.
You said who
He's
your
a bully.
Okay.
You can become the villain though.
Yes.
Batman.
He has
He
enough money.
The Batman thing, yes.
Yes.
That whole Batman quote about how much are you willing to be the vigilante? Stop looking at me, Christian Ian Silas Sinclair, whatever.
I mean, in the manga, you also had a Death Tea series with him, so.
See, that's why with that anime, you need to read. If you think Yu-Gi-Oh is just a branding thing, you need to read the original manga. It's dark. Yeah, it's dark. It literally it is light end of dark, but if you are a child who's 5 or 6 reading it, you're going to need a trigger warning. I will put it that way. That's
Your
one of those
parents
manga.
need the trigger warning.
Correct.
Your
Because they have the
parents need
buying
trigger
power.
warning that the cute little anime you see on Nickelodeon is not what you are getting them when you hand them the manga.
No.
And that is something that people don't realize, that the animes they see are the manga light. They're the manga light. And yeah, there's people who they love Howl's Moving Castle. They hate the book.
Correct. For the book it's the same thing.
The book
here.
makes you think about things. The book makes you think about things, and the book makes you hurt. There are places in the book where you, especially like people who have been through traumas, that those books, Your Lie in April, Yuri on Ice, those are animes that are, oh yeah, this is this nice light anime. You're just watching an anime. No, these Restauranto Paradiso, the one that's set in Italy that I'm so obsessed with right now, there are some painful things going on in there. My Happy Marriage. How many people do we know that have DNF'd My Happy Marriage after episode 2 or 3? They're like, they noped out of it. They couldn't even go. They couldn't get to the last episode.
And that's why for me, you all, or somebody below me here mentioned Kaiba. I'm not going to mention Kaiba as the epic enemy. I'm going to mention the Pharaoh for that reason. If you read my books, you know who Abraxas is. He's evil incarnate for the sake of being the egotistical evil. That's all the Yami perspective in Yu-Gi-Oh is. It's the ego at its evilest. Amplified, rest in peace, Toriyama Sensei, by 9,000. And I want to say that one more time. Speaking of bad guy archetypes I would like to date, Piccolo from Dragon Ball. I would have dated him. I kid you not, I would have. Look at how good Gohan. He would have taken great care of me.
That's all that matters.
And he slightly has daddy syndrome. Let's get real. Now that you know more about your soul writer than you really want to know, question number 4. If you could change the end of one anime, which one and how or why?
I don't know. I'm going to pass that one and leave it to the experts, because I don't know. It's just like some of the ones that I've seen are just, they have really, really tragic ends, and some of them have really great ends. I don't think that I was upset with any of them, though. Like, I kind of felt like even the tragedies, it meant something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not an expert. Like I tell everybody,
You
Sam argued with me about it.
Negative to my friend, please and thank you, Mama Maggie.
Probably the end of Robotech, or oh my goodness. Okay. Spoiler here, Clash on Titan. I love the last 3 or 4 minutes of it, with the girl running through the forest to the tree and that part I love. What I didn't love was everything that came before that for the last episode.
I wish they would have just left like the last 10 minutes off.
Could you have just jumped to the girl running through the forest? Could you just have made that jump instead of making that statement about the loop of war? And of course, you're lying, April. But surprisingly, Sword Art Online. No, this first season, the first episode, the creator, I can't think of his name.
It's like Kiba?
It's like, yeah, Dr. Kevon?
I don't know how to say it. I know you're referring to.
I see the kanji. I can't pronounce
everyone
it,
knows
yeah.
who I'm talking about. I'm this very justice-driven person, and the way it ended, and he had no remorse, no regret, just walked away from murdering tens of thousands of people. Sword Art Online Season 1. I would have ended that one differently because I needed justice for everyone Kirito and Asuna lost. I needed justice for everyone that didn't make it out of the game.
And you're led to hope and think they all woke up and they didn't. Sam, what about you?
So Mama Maggie took my big one with the Sword Art Online thing. But,
that's why Sam and I are like soul sisters.
The writing for what they did, you had no clue what was going in the outside world versus the inside world until they told you. So the writing team to Sword Art,
That was good.
there's a reason why you're making millions.
Oh yeah. My secondary one is Death Note. I just was not happy with the ending to Death Note whatsoever. I'm not going to spoil it because I know Death Note was famous. And yeah, but
Keyword.
it's not rewatchable. And that's probably the reason why it's fell from fame so quickly, other than, random memes. But yeah, Death Note, I would definitely change the ending to it. Just make it more hard hitting, I guess. Because it seemed really soft and just really meh. Here you go.
You're muted, Mama Maggie.
Sorry. The difference between the first two seasons and then the end of it is it's like going from it's like you take the toboggan down the mountain and then you're just kind of
you're just kind of skating along.
Did they use the Japanese story art telling of I forget how to say it, but literally it's crazy, 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 tons of rising action, boom, climax, no falling action, end. It felt a little
not
too
exactly.
Much
yeah. It still had some falling action, but it left a bad taste in your mouth.
It's the progression of who had the Death Note that ruins it.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched it, please watch it all the way through.
With friends,
if anything,
to keep you
just
happy.
to see not what to do with the series and why. And here's the thing, and why not to write to market and to trends.
Exactly.
Well, see, I never got into Death Note because that did not hold my attention with the whole book scenario.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But then the end was like, nah, whatever.
The second they did to L what they did to L, I was done.
Yeah.
I will say that. So what other anime would you change though? Because for me the answer is none because they had to be that way.
Yeah.
I
There's
agree
a
with
lot.
Frank.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime that I wouldn't really change. Manga, on the other hand.
Oh yeah, that's a whole totally different story.
Yeah. Like one of my favorites, Demon Diaries. Yeah. I want to rewrite the ending. I have rewritten the ending in some fan fiction, but yeah, it left a bad taste in my mouth too. But anime, I finally came to the realization that some of the endings needed to happen the way they did, except for Sword Art Online and Death Note.
And Nicole, for you, did you have any to add before we move on?
So one thing that's annoying is that a lot of animes will only dub like one season. So for me, I'd say Black Blood Brothers because you're doing this awesome villain at the ending of the first season. That's all you get dub wise. So I definitely wanted to like write that so it's sooner. And then the other one was Mafia Familia. Because when you first started watching that one, it's a really cool concept of like this mafia family, and everyone has a tarot ability, associated with cards. But then towards the end, they go away from that. It's just focused more on like mafia and love interests, and I'd wish they just focused more on what it was known for.
I have to agree with you there 3,000% honestly, because I didn't even think about that one. And now I got to go rewatch it. Number 5. Thank you. Should money not be an obstacle? Would there be a particular style, like if you were to say a show name or an artist name that you would want your series to be an anime modeled after? Why or why not? Rachel.
I'm thinking about the question. Are we talking style or just
art style?
Art style?
Yep.
I have always loved the art from Wolf's Rain. So
good choice.
I would like that.
Yes.
If you have not seen Wolf's Rain, you're welcome. Thank you, my friend. Oh my goodness. Oh, you want to talk about something that they literally look like they took the original concept art and copy pasted it to the screen.
Like I love the shading, the colors, just everything works, especially with the fact that it's a dystopian world, and I just feel like it goes with the mood. So I would want my artists to do that with my books if I could, if money were no object.
Mama Maggie.
Well, because I like I said, I'm the science fiction-y one. I like the technical details and like the really detailed backgrounds and stuff. Even though this is a fantasy anime that was converted from a K-drama, Battle Through the Heavens, I want motion magic. I want motion magic for Relic of Time because it's sci-fi fantasy, you know, we're dealing with all these things, but the thing I like about motion magic is how detailed their backgrounds are. They're so intricately, and I know it's computer generated and everybody's like, it's computer generated, it's you know, and I'm like, no, I don't care about that. I love the way the creatures look. I love the way the backgrounds look. I love everything about it. If I were to go not computer generated, then I would either have to go with Toho Animation, who does the Apothecary Diaries, because like the what anime taught me about writing that I didn't get to do because of my migraines was literally I had like 30 minutes on the background setting and how much to reveal and not reveal. So I didn't get to do that. Or maybe Cinderella Chef. It's Wawa U Animation does Cinderella Chef, and they do these planes where they'll either have really detailed stuff really up close or the really detailed stuff behind you. And so it's this jump between worlds and perspectives. And I love that. And that's, Relic of Time Wars, honestly, that one, or maybe the Book of Elo, with the Ghost with Cats. But I don't know how well my other series would adapt to being animated. But I think Relic of Time War would really adapt to being animated because of, they've got space travel, they've got portal travel. Magic is just energy that can be calculated with math. And they've got genosaurs and planet colonies, and they're literally fighting a war against an extra dimensional parasite that just pops out like a trapdoor spider and eats planets. So
I love that comparison. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, since I started writing Relic of Time War, my thought has been, who would I want to do the anime?
Yeah, that's me. I don't watch. Thanks, Maddie.
And Sam, your turn, my friend.
So with my epic that I'm fixing to start writing, I would really like the animators from like Witch Hunter Robin. I know they went under. I think they did. But they did amazing work with Darkness and Light. It just really hit. And just the way they made the characters. I mean, I fell in love with Amon. And Apothecary Diaries. They put so much in that anime. It is unreal.
Toho did amazing.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
They have a lot of projects coming out that are new too because of that series, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll watch it later.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And Mau Mau. I love that little character. Violet Evergarden too. I love the beauty in Violet Evergarden. The way they made her fingers move. I mean, just the animation in the characters in and of itself, even if you don't look at the backgrounds or the coloring or anything like that, was just gorgeous in Violet Evergarden. So yeah, that's my 3.
Very short 3. Nicole.
So I feel like for me, poetry-wise, it'd have to be Black Butler because I love going with the Gothwood aesthetic, and that's shown a lot throughout that series.
I mean, you are the sister of the co-author pair who is the dark and stabby type, so that makes sense.
And then, I think for Hunted, I definitely say either like Trinity Blood or Hellsing, because we want like more of the like old style vampire lore.
Oh, who did Trinity Blood? Which studio was that? I gotta look that up. Trinity Blood is studio. I know it's Yoshida who did the illustrations, but illustrated publisher Tokyo Pop. That's who I thought. Tokyo Pop, which was one of the 2 I would have said. Did you have others to add on?
I mean that's it.
I would pick Tokyo Pop just because they have a really good merch connection, because they tend to go from page to stage is kind of their mindset. A lot of their stuff starts as manga or a book, gets translated into on screen. I'm a 90s kid, so I have to say Sunrise Bandai. That would be my number 1 pick. They did Ronin, they did the Gundam series, they did Inuyasha. They did most of the stuff in the 90s that we love. And when my character illustrator, Suntroa, does the sketch artist, that's kind of the era we've chosen. We both are 90s kids, and a lot of the threads he pulls on from inspiration for his line art, weights, and shading, I think comes from that era too. And it's just kind of like Mama Maggie. I know who I want. I just need to find the artist that'll work with my illustrator because I'm sorry. Suntroa, you're part of this for the long run, honey. If it becomes an anime, you're head art director. Just get over it.
I know who I want. I just need like a backdoor into like some billionaires hedge funds so that I can like start siphoning off the money to pay for it.
If anyone who has ties to things like Crunchyroll and Funimation hear all of us talking, come and reach us out. I put our YouTube channels in the chat. Just saying.
Motion magic. I'll get my passport. You know,
that would be a fun thing to figure out how to do as authors. How do you pitch your book to become an anime?
And how do you pitch it in such a way with countries that don't have the kind of copyright protections that we have, that mean you will be appropriately compensated and still have creative control of your world. Because that is something that I have not been able to answer, and I have not been able to find people to answer. And it's like,
I think we have a journey to go on,
right?
You know, there are copyright lawyers who deal with, and I have a friend who is a translator, and she's like, I'll tell you straight up, my brother's a lawyer here. And as far as it is in China, once you hand it over, unless you have something completely ironclad by our law, we don't care what the law is anywhere else in the world.
Yep.
And so it's just, you know, and sadly, India is now becoming the same way. They're like, and it's not just with creative license things like writing and stuff. Recently, a
KDP had some issues
German
over there with them.
A major German pharmaceutical and company that's in the U.S. and German pharmacy company lost a lawsuit in the World Court against India because India has a company where they're like, we will make any medication for our people that our people can afford, and they're taking a medication that they charge thousands of dollars a dose in the westernized world for. You can get it in India for like 160 American a dose. And it's like, they're like, you know, this is ridiculous. There's no reason for them to be charging.
Buy their insulin from Canada, honey.
Yep.
And it's like, and, you know, sadly, but that's also the way creativity is going, is like, you know, just because you have it in your mind palace doesn't mean someone isn't going to sell it somewhere else.
That's a good comparison too.
So
speaking of mind palaces and shorter form fiction, my answer to number 6 is on Sam's shirt, Ghibli. Who does anyone else have another one other than Ghibli to add when it comes to anime style movies? Which one has mastered short storytelling for versions of, because we've mentioned series so far. Are there any other movie makers that are really
I know that this will get me in trouble, but I think Ghibli and Toho have both, because Toho does have a few movies out. They have they have both surpassed the Overlord D for the big anime films. And sadly, you know, yay for princesses, but you know,
Pixar's doing a good job at amending that by getting the dubbing rights to the Ghibli stuff, though. I will admit that.
Yeah.
Pixar, good on you for securing that.
But yeah, it's for the shorts. I think we're back to looking at all the different independents, the people, the art school students that are making these little tiny short independent films and things like that. There was one that I was watching. There was a short that I saw. What was it about? I can't remember. It was about a stray cat, and the dog, and the stray cat rescues an abused dog, and they go live on the street, and then a family finds them and takes them to go live in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. And that was like the short film winner like 2 years ago. and that was a completely student-made film. And I think that, unfortunately, with a lot of the big animation studios in the Western world, that's what we look at. They look at marketability versus the story complex, whereas the Asian, because they don't just look at the marketability, they look at that thing that digs into your heart and it gets its hook in, because that way they know you will come back to them.
Any other add-ins to this one, Sam?
Yeah, Suzume, by Makoto Shinkai. If y'all haven't seen that, you're in for a treat, because it's literally open doorways and this character is trying to close them and he gets snagged by this chick and all of a sudden he's a chair. So that was a beautiful movie. And I think that production team is going to go a long way.
So I'm not sure who produced it, but it was a movie. It was called Death Angel.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
That is so good. I watch it like 5 times now.
And kind of piggybacking on what you said, I'm not sure who made it. I was just trying to look it up. The movie's called Your Name. It's 2 teenagers. It's kind of like Freaky Friday.
Yes.
But a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a good way to describe it, but that's exactly what it is at the same time.
Yeah.
And the company who did that one, the teeniest, like beyond Ghibli level of detail to like sweat beads, the timing of when they would run down with dialogue. It's like, who's doing your editing here?
It's Makoto Shinkai again.
That makes sense.
Your Name is Makoto Shinkai again. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes total sense, because same vibe.
Yeah.
Just, I love the attention to detail. Do my panelists have any questions they'd like to add on? We did have one from the audience to address before we wrap. Is Mama Maggie adding one to the chat?
No, I'm putting in the name of two of them, of the shorts that I have really enjoyed recently.
What would they be? Before we go to our audience question,
the Kitbull was the one about the cat and the little bully was Pixar, and the other one is After the Rain by Omleto.
Yes, I watched that one the other day. Oh my goodness. Oh, good choices. Good choices. So if you do have any comments or questions to add from the chat or from the panel, you're welcome to do so. Nicole's sister Lauren, over on the Writing Sisters, asked, recommend one anime to someone new to anime. We had some dropped in the chat or on High School Host Club or Toradora, because everyone's been to high school. So, and thank you. I think I spelled those right. Any others?
I'll always recommend the Fruits Basket series because
Same
it's
reasons.
just my favorite. But it's like these are high school, and it's acceptable. I think that it's, even though it does get a little dark at times, it's something that could be acceptable for new people to anime.
Maggie.
Mine is Sam's favorite, Apothecary Diaries, of course. Gotta recommend that one. 86. I'm desperately hoping 86 gets another season, but it's looking like it might not. So if you haven't watched 86, be sure you watch that. And for like more adult type josei anime, definitely slice of life, kind of a drama thing, Restaurante Paradiso. It's about this girl who her mother is getting remarried and basically dumps her on her grandmother. And like 10 years later, she goes to Paris to find her mom, finds out that her mom has never told the new husband that she has a child. She's kind of, she tells them that, oh, this is my friend's child, just staying with me in Paris. And so she's in this restaurant that her mom and her mom's husband have started. And she starts making friends, and it's really her trying to come to terms with her life and her mom and being in Paris for the first time. And so, yeah, Restaurante Paradiso. And that's the one that I said about, that I cited in my how much is too much emotion to display and not enough, because, perfectly normal people can have a chibi reaction for a minute. And
you're happy now, Mama Maggie? I did the thing.
So this is always a hard question for me to answer because I always have to have follow-up questions like, are you into dark stuff? Are you into whatever? So if you're into like darker things, Ninja Scroll. That's my top-notch favorite dark anime, Ninja Scroll. If you like action and a little bit off the beaten path, Samurai Champloo. If you like love stories, romance, Maid Sama, hands down. And
that anime didn't end how I thought it would. Just saying.
Yeah. But it was good. It was fun. And then like Slice of Life, I think it's called My Roommate is a Cat. I don't know.
I heard that one.
Yeah, it's really cute. I loved it. It was just amazing. So yeah.
And then Nicole.
I say for like a light-hearted anime, I'd recommend Tridon. It has a lot of laughs in it. For a gamer's aspect, I'd recommend Devil May Cry because it's easy to transfer from the game to the anime. And I always recommend Cardcaptors, but I made sure they watch Cardcaptors and not Cardcaptor Sakura. No one should watch that version.
I got it. Slightly agree. Younger me, no. Older me, yes. And then we had one more question. Anime you changed the main character in. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Should have been about Kaiba as it was originally supposed to have been. And I'm going to leave it at that. It would have been a better anime.
I second that.
Third.
Yeah.
Muted?
I've only watched 2 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! So
it would have been properly dark as it should have been, put it that way. It wouldn't have lasted as many seasons, though, was the problem.
It would have been better, though.
No. I think maybe Sailor Moon, if Serena had not been the main character, because she was just... Sometimes Serena was so hysterical, and it's like thank God that Jupiter and Mars and Mercury were around her to nail her shoes to the floor
on the daily, not just in battle, because Minako Venus didn't hang out with her often because Popstar.
Yeah.
And technically, she had her own anime, Sailor V, which is better.
Yeah,
shorter.
But oh goodness, I don't know which one I would change the MC in. I don't do damsels, so that's probably the reason that I always have problems with Serena. But no, really, that is a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
It would change the stories like drastically, and in the case of Sailor Moon, might even change the title name a little bit. But
yeah.
Wow. Okay, I got to think about this a little harder because other than cases where they switched characters around for marketing reasons, I can't think of any others.
Well, it would have been Sailor Scouts instead of Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
So it would have been more of a group story because, I mean,
Actually got married. That made me so mad. They're supposed to be with the Shitano. They're supposed to be with the generals, dang it. And I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
So I don't know if I would actually change the MC, but I would like a spin-off of Black Butler following Grill.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Ooh, yes,
You
I
know?
would pay handsomely for.
Yeah.
I want the rest of that story, please.
Yes, definitely. Yes. I'm still trying to think of an anime that I'd want to change the MC on.
It's a lot of, I just want spin-off stories is what I'm like, no,
Right.
that's a spin-off story.
Yeah.
No, that's a spin-off story. We're serial writing authors, so that makes
can't
sense.
help it.
But
Jenna
Yeah,
stole mine.
love you.
Love you too. You stole mine. I would say in Bleach because I always found Ishio kind of annoying, and the fact that he had to be not sparing like every type of fine style that was in Bleach, which was really annoying.
The system of the world worked against that main character a little too hard.
But at the end, he was like not spared as like a Hollow, as a Reaper, as a Quincy. It was crazy.
Con.
And I would have rather it been Bakia because I want someone that was like a lot more character in the show.
what Jocelyn said about Pokemon.
Yep. Pokemon ruined, like the Pokemon era of anime. It became all about marketing it to the wrong age group.
Agreed.
Sadly. Thanks, 4Kids Entertainment. Your dubbing was amazing in some cases. Your marketing, on the other hand, was not to ESRB standards. We will say that. And on that note, since some of you did suggest it is 1K subscriber month here on this channel, I think we can arrange an anime watch party. I'll put up a poll to see what everyone wants to do. That might be fun. We might have to pick a movie to watch. That'll be fun. And I'm sure the Cheesecake Man will endorse. So thank you, everyone, for joining in. It's great to spend time with you. It's good to see you. And I think on that note, we need to say something to everybody in the crowd there. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Bye. Thank you for being here. Adios.